Caution, toxic hazard. Well, I'm just glad this game doesn't hide from its true value. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, I am SocioPsycho, and this is Mob Reviews, and today we're going to take a look at Doorways, the Underworld. This was created by Bot Studios, available for PC, Mac, and Linux. It is a adventure proclaimed horror game, and a third part in a series, though it states that you don't need to play the other two parts in order to understand what is going on and to get immersed. Well, let's see exactly how well the game actually does, and we'll begin in the options menu. Now, there's not any mouse control during the menu options, though there is mouse control in the game. All the key rebindings are easily rebound with no issues, so I haven't had any problems in that regard. Your audio, you do have a slider, which is nice, and some of the sounds in the game and some of the musics do help propel an atmosphere, but they are not put into a correct context, nor are they really delivered in a way that should be truly capitalizing on what could potentially be a scary or unnerving atmosphere. They don't take it far enough. It's like, ooh, did I hear a ghost? But there's nothing else. The sound doesn't really add any suspense because you don't have any suspense building moments. When we go into video, you do have a large variation of screen resolutions, which is definitely nice, VSync and Oculus Rift. The game does have Oculus Rift, though the game itself is not all that amazing, so perhaps you may enjoy or get it for that reason alone, though that is a sad reason indeed to get it, for the game does suffer from immersion problems. The quality and graphic setting of the game is pretty poor. It looks like a high-end iPhone game more than a PC game, though it has been running at 60 frames per second with no clipping, tearing, or crashing, and I've not suffered any performance issues from the game, although it does not look all that impressive, and the overall atmosphere is just non-existent in some ways. So when we jump in here and we actually talk about the game splits itself up into two categories. Puzzles, as it proclaims on its store page that it has immersive puzzles that will make you think and really drive your experience forward. Yeah, the puzzles in the game are not puzzles. It's, hey look, there's a door, and I need to put in a code for the door. I picked up a note earlier, and on that note there were 4 numbers. Now I put those 4 numbers into the door code, and the door is open. And if that is not mind-blowingly hard enough for you, the main basis of a story is a scavenger quest more than anything else. Oh, I need to find a wheel to operate a pump to put water in an area that I can drop down in. Where is that wheel to operate the pump? Well, I need a key. So now I have to find a key that opens a door that gets me to a pump. And then once I turn on the pump, the water starts. Then I jump in the water, go down another little pathway, find another key, open the second door, find a pump, put the wheel on the next pump, and there you go. Continuous repetitiveness of that category throughout the entire game. And you're thinking, well, yeah, I can get that, but does it at least give you some spook or scare? And we go into the horror element of it, and it's rather sad. Now, I can get by with a game graphically not being all that impressive, and I can get by with the animational quality of certain enemies being less than imposing or scary based on the visualization, because a horror game is meant to be more of a self-horror, a self-suspense, and letting one's mind wander and be frightful of what is going to happen next, what is around the corner. Not a jump scare particularly, but I do not want to see what monster is lurking in that dark shadow. I am going to try to stay away from it. The game's capability to enwrap your mind into its own enemy and make you really think and be afraid of what's in the dark is laughable. The most I found myself thinking or being curious about during my gameplay was what I was going to have for lunch, or how the weather is outside, or when it got really bad, I'd actually think in my head and play other games in my head while playing this because it was so boring and so televised and so easy. There was no immersion. There was no threat of doom. This game is more of a simulation of what it's like to be a coal miner in the 1930s. You run around a dark underground area, part of which turns and looks like a bunker from World War II, and the other a coal mine. And they have, very scary skeletons. Yes, how terrifying. The animational quality of the game comes off more corny than anything else. And sadly, the game doesn't even have a story arc which really propels emotion forward. For a good half of the game, you're wondering why you're even there in the first place. And yes, you do understand by reading the different notes that you find that, okay, I have a base understanding of what's going on, but nothing really all that in-depth or knowledgeable as to why exactly I'm here. Unlike they say on a Steam store page, that you don't need to play the other games in order to understand and grasp and have full immersion into the game. But the story is so weak-willed, so bare bones, that it doesn't add anything to the actual game. Oh, there's a monster. I understand this monster is here because of experiments done to him. How scary, on top of the fact that the game continuously autosaves for you. There is no threat of death if you run into a monster, not like there's stealth pathways anyways, so should a monster get you, oh no, I have to automatically reload the game back up to a minute, if that, to the latest checkpoint. There are not 20 tasks you need to do in between these checkpoints that would make it a frustration or annoyance or a desire not to die should that be happen, or put you on edge or multi-curious about what can I do to make sure that I am not compromised. I feel that this game is trying to ride on the Oculus Rift coattails, saying, hey, we have Oculus Rift. Why don't you wear us and see how amazing this is? And while that may be good enough for some people, at the end of the day, I find this game just downright pathetic. Its complete and utter lack of immersion is a joke. This game has the same feeling as going through a haunted house for the second or third time. Ooh, so scary. A monster that is going to get me. And if it does get me, then I just start back up, not very far from where I was. The emotions of the enemies, the animational quality, the visualization are all a joke. While this game has definitely not been all that long, the asking price of $10 or on sale for $5 is still insanely expensive for a game that is only going to run you about maybe an hour to an hour and a half depending on your speed through it and understanding of the very simple puzzles. If you could even call it that, it's more fetch quest than anything else. This game is a joke and a waste of your time. It does not respect you. It's not going to fucking scare you unless you're so terrified of horror games that you don't even play them in the first place. And if that's the case, then why are you even playing this game? Maybe if you want to get this game to scare a kid because that's how you jive, then okay. Because maybe a kid whose mind is so simplistic and understanding and visualization of the world is so small and ignorant that maybe some of them will be scared by this game. This game is a joke and not worth your money, and I will not recommend it under any circumstance. No matter what the price point is, they could be giving it away for free, and I'd say don't waste your time. Ladies and gentlemen, I've been SocioPsycho, and this has been my reviews, and I'll see you next time.